We're going live. Are we live? I got my water.
Jaimie, I did not fill up my water. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
I know it's empty.
I know we're both empty. That nobody asked for with empty waters.
I know.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, guys.
What an exciting day here, rainy and gross in New York City, and welcome to the show that nobody asked for.
Say hi. Tell us you're here. It's the show that nobody asked for. The only reason we shower.
Literally the only reason that we showered, Jaimie.
I mean, it's the show that nobody asked for. The only reason that we shower. If these ovaries could talk is live right now. Boom, boom. Well, that was just beautiful.
Chair dance when that was on, and now we both like when that's playing, we're like this.
No, I dance. What are you talking about?
No, I was getting ready for other things. Hi, my sister's here.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Julie. Elizabeth, good question. Ask her nubs over here, as my mother-in-law would say. Ask her nubs over here why we don't have any afternoon cocktails anytime.
What is her nubs before I answer that question?
I don't know. She says that all. It's her. Ask her nubs. Like when she's always like, I don't know. It's her nubs.
I want to know. Is it like nubs, like NUBS?
Yeah, like nub. Her nub. Oh, this is all because of her nubs. I have no idea. It's a Queen's
I really want to know. All right. Well, so I will tell you that. So I started the dry January, as most of you know, and then I sort of continued it. But I've had like 3 or 4 drinks since then. And so I have not been drinking as much. I've been trying to feel like I'm disappointing you, Jaimie, but
I've lost my drinking buddy, but that's good. It's making me healthier too.
Yeah.
Hi, Marissa.
Oh, out of pure guilt. I know, because we were like drunk buddies in like a. Like, you want a drink? I want a drink.
Because of the pandemic, we just went crazy. So
your day sounds awful. Let's have a drink.
That's basic. Your dog died. Let's have a drink. Like that's basically how
you, Jaimie, is some wine. These are the things that we would say. You should have some wine. What's wine?
It's so hard. But I'm so proud of you.
To identify when I'm having drinks to eat over my feelings, and when I am having drinks because I just wanted to have a cocktail. And so I have had a lot less. I think I was doing a lot of feelings.
Amazing.
We're here now, Jaimie.
How are you feeling?
We talked about my feelings last week. I don't think we need to talk about my feelings.
Are you feeling better with this rainy day?
Hi,
Beth. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. I mean, like, I am trying to feel better, but I still feel funky. I still just feel like hi, Kayla. Like, I don't know what I have a lot of the ho-hums, like,
we're just in the rut of the end of the pandemic, but it's not the end of the pandemic, but it's kind of the end of the pandemic, but people are still getting sick. In the end, that's where we are. It's like
talk about people getting sick, Jaimie, and how
we're on the wheel. We're on the wheel. My nanny tested positive, but everybody's good here. We've been tested multiple times, still good. So, I
mean, it's like, so Jamie's like, what are the chances? And she was 1 shot in, like she had 1 shot.
My nanny had 1 shot already. She's fine. She's not, by the way, Metches is fine. She's feeling great. And her husband who has it too.
But they're both just asymptomatic.
They have slight symptoms, like a light cold, I think. So that's good. But it's like, first, to talk about my feelings, first I want to talk about my hair because I'm so angry with my hair right now. And I just want to say
before I hit live, I was like, Jaimie, your hair looks nice. And then she went into a 20-minute rant about how
it was not 20 minutes
or something. Well, we only had 30 seconds. And I was
like a Cocker Spaniel. I'm not happy with the hair today, but
compliment. Take the compliment.
Thank you. But anyway, so I'm looking. It's hard to see myself because I don't like what's happening here with the frizz. So anyway, but I called Robin on what was it, Monday morning, and I was like, it's just easier to call you because I'm strolling my kid, and I just shit. I was like, I
was like, Jaimie, we knew this was coming. I was like, her husband was tested positive. This was coming.
I was like, I can't catch a break. It seems like every time we get like a foothold, we have our groove, then something else comes and knocks us down. And that's literally how I feel right now. I just feel like every time we find ourselves in somewhat of a groove, and Anne said it last night, while we were watching TV. She was like, you know how I feel? I was like, yeah, I know, me too. Every time we feel like we're in some kind of a groove, like Orion is like being really good with Metch as our nanny, and he's leaving the house when he's supposed to, and he's not bothering us for work. And we have Rose going to something every day of the week, so we finally have some alone time where we can do work. Boom, cut down, shut down. Now my son is home with us 24/7. I had to teach. I'm back to teaching dance classes on the Zoom. I had to teach 3 dance classes with my 3-year-old.
How'd that go? Did he participate? What did he do in the back? Just
No, first of all, I have guilt because he was on the TV that whole time. But he was also, I forgot that he needs help going to I have to lift him up onto the toilet, right?
Because he's a little person.
He's a little guy. So, like, during the class, Mama, I have to pee. Mama, you gotta go. So I have to, like, run away.
Don't you have a little stool? He can't use a stool to get up there?
There's a stool, but he's dramatic. And also with the pooping, he had to poop during it. So I have to wipe it. Like, I'm literally like, sorry, 4th graders. I gotta go wipe my kid's butt. Like, it was so bad. It was so stressful. So that's where I'm at. But you know what? I'm making light of it. It's okay. Everybody's healthy. So there's that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our first
hot topic. Speaking of, I don't know.
We're going to need this episode, folks. We need your input on all of these topics.
Yes, please. Comment.
Be saying stuff to us. What does that even mean? Be saying stuff to us.
You guys, I mean, so here's the thing. Everybody knows what happened. The Catholic Church just came out and said, no, we cannot condone.
We're not gonna bless your unions. That's, I think, specifically what they said.
We can't bless your unions because it's a sin in the eyes of God, basically is what they said. But didn't, like, 2 years ago, this same Pope, or a year ago, say gays are okay, right? So,
okay.
You know, hi, Mom.
All right. So I remember when this Pope became the Pope, everybody was all like, this guy's more gay friendly. And my friend Jenny Hagel, shout out to Jenny Hagel. She's a writer on the Seth Meyers show. And she's also those, like, questions or jokes Seth can't tell. It's her and Amber Ruffin. And she's the lesbian, and then Amber Ruffin's like the black person. And then they're all jokes that are like lesbian and black. And he can't tell the punchlines. But anyway, she's hilarious. And she did a whole bit on Seth Meyers about, she was like, this Pope is not your friend. She was like, I'm tired of all these people saying he's like doing basic, she was like, it's just basic what he's saying, but he's not supporting us. Cut to like a year or two later, here we are, Jenny Hagel proven correct.
It's just, not that I don't care what the Catholic Church says about me. It's just, well, I guess I do, because screw you. Who are you? You have whoa. Who are you guys to tell me? And also, it's not God's plan. That's what I read last night. He said, we cannot condone something that is not that is proven to not be a part of God's plan. Listen, if it is in the universe, isn't it God's plan? Like, that doesn't even make any kind of sense to me, that argument. If it's here in front of us, guess what? It's part of God's plan. Like, if you believe in the concept of hell, then you have to believe that that's also God's plan.
Well, right? I mean, my whole thing is that I was just dealing with the technical issues that Michelle very nicely told me that you couldn't hear me. Okay, Marissa's saying she was raised Catholic and she has a lot of trauma from the church, for sure. But my whole thing, so I was not raised with any organized religion, like none whatsoever. Like, I mean, at one point in the 4th grade, I went to my mom and I said, because all the kids were doing, like, going to church. I almost said doing church. That's how Catholic we are. And I said to my mom, I was like, I'd like to go to church. And she was like, and then she sent me with the neighbors. She wasn't like, I'm going to take you to church. She sent me literally with the neighbors, where I had no idea what was happening. And I was just like, okay. But I have always had the idea or the understanding that if there is a God, right, let's just assume there is for the sake of the conversation, and they are all loving and all knowing, then they would want me to be happy. And they would never be mad at me for,
of course,
how I came out.
Of course. And if you're
unless
talking
I'm
about
like a serial killer, at which point I think they might be a little mad.
I mean, how can you?
I mean, aren't we in God's image? Isn't that the whole thing?
Exactly. And if we are in God's image, then this is a part of God's plan. Every single part of it. I can't even with their dumb arguments.
Jaimie, I believe that what that means, ergo, God's a little gay.
God's totally gay. God's a homo.
God's a little gay. He's on the spectrum. He's on the spectrum.
No, you know what God is?
We don't know where he is.
God's pansexual. God is everything and everywhere. God just is.
I remember going to a funeral once at a back upstate New York, and I have like one or two cousins. We have a very small family. My cousin Lisa, who's a listener. Hi, Lisa.
Hi,
we
Lisa.
were like stepping into the church of the funeral, and she was like, said something about us being struck by lightning. And I thought that was hilarious because it's like two gays enter a church. And
yeah, well, there you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it. It's just stupid. I just find it stupid. Like, okay, you keep saying what you want to say, and then half or more of the population who actually understand that they are actually a little bit gay are going to keep on going forward, and eventually we're going to take over the world. The gays, that's it.
Well, I'm just also from like a business, like let's just say I'm running the Catholic Church as a business. It was a dumb move. Yeah, it was a dumb move. Their population is declining of people that go to church. Like you need two things you need to do: embrace the gays and let women be priests. Like you're racked with scandals of priests who are molesting young kids, and you have the balls to say that we're sinners.
We're sinners.
Like, you're the ones covered up crimes against children, and we are the sinners. Like that's sinners. Nope.
We're the sinners.
Nope.
We're the sinners. It's ridiculous, and I
wait. How did y'all read the article about how the Vatican profited off of Elton John's movie? How did that happen? Tell us how that
bullshit, Marissa.
I love how you're just like that's bullshit. Like, how did they profit off his movie?
That's bullshit. Maybe they filmed something at the Vatican. Who knows?
Well, tell us that. We're going to move on to our next hot topic. Jaimie, I did it.
You guys.
I did it.
She sent an article. We're gonna have to read up on that.
Okay, we'll get into that. Thank you for that.
So, you guys, we talk about this in our intro for next week. So you're gonna hear this twice if you listen to the live stream, but I think you can stand to hear it twice. And if you don't want to hear it again, fast forward.
And also, I want you to chime in on this because you can't chime in when we talk about the podcast. But so
we wanted to know your opinions. So
Agree with me.
Oh, right. You're going to ask for the
Agree
thing.
with me.
Oh my God. So I'm talking with my daughter last week, and she brought up the donor, and I said, oh, well, I've been stressing over how do I bring up the donor siblings for about a year now, because my daughter is now old enough to understand about the siblings, and I don't want this to come as a shock to her. So I hear that echo. So I've been stressing over how am I going to bring this up? We have to bring it up. Waiting for the opportunity to push it into the conversation, and she brought up the donor, and so I jumped on it. I said, well, do you want to look at his folder? And she said, yeah, sure. So we sat down, we opened the folder, we looked at the pictures, we read his personal essay, which, by the way, was a very, very lovely essay. And
was it nice to revisit?
Yes, because I forgot all about that essay, and it was a huge part of why we chose him, and he's just such a wonderful guy. So anyway, so we're looking at it, and then I said, Jaimie, this is the opportunity. And I looked at Anne, and I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And I said, well, by the way, my daughter is obsessed with a sister. She wants a younger sister or an older sister, any sister. It doesn't matter. She wants a sister just as much as she wants a dog. She asks for a sister and a dog on the regular. Sorry, kid, you got a brother, but that's a whole nother story. So
poor Orion.
I know, poor guy. So I said, well, you know how we used this donor to make you and Orion. Well, you know what? There's other families out there who probably use the exact same donor. And she was like, I said, well, do you know what that means? Do you know what the amazing thing about that is? It means you probably have siblings out there that we call donor siblings. You probably have siblings out there in the world. She lit up. Like, if I tell you this child lit up from the inside out like a freaking couldn't believe how excited she got. Her mouth dropped. She was like, oh, I have siblings. I have siblings. Do you think one of them is a girl? Do you think they're girls? And I was like, maybe. You might have a sister. Who knows? So she was so excited and happy and like jumping off of the walls. We did this right before bedtime. So I was like, oh God, now we're never going to get to bed. Well, she jumped off the walls. We got her in bed. And I thought, oh no, now she's going to go to school and talk about how she has like 20 siblings and blah, blah, blah. Like we're going to have
from the sperm daddy.
I was worried they were going to come home being like, did Rose use other sperm and have 20 siblings? But then the next morning, not another word was spoken about it. She hasn't brought it up since. It's just really interesting, but she was super excited, super happy. She knows the information now. She hasn't brought it up since, so we're not bringing it up. It will drop that seed like Lisa, the therapist, says to do every once in a while, it'll be a part of our origin story now from now going forward. And when she wants to pick that subject up again, she can pick it up again. But here's the point of this. Long story short, I know Robin is so annoyed. She wants me to get to the crux of this. So right after Rose went to bed, we said, well, let's see if we can reach out and find some of them. So we went to the donor sibling registry. There's a bulletin board. A couple of people had reached out, but nobody had left an email address. There's no private Facebook group that I know of. I looked up the donor number everywhere. Couldn't find any information. So two people had left their emails on the board. So we emailed those two people and just said, our daughter is interested, if anybody's interested. And one person wrote back and was like, yes, I have a little boy. He's almost 7. He has shown interest too. We would love to get to know you. We're in California, actually really close to where my mother lives. And boom, done, reached out. We still have yet to answer that woman.
So Jaimie.
I know.
Okay, so
we did it.
So what I want to ask people is so Jaimie said that there is no Facebook group. And I said, there wasn't a Facebook group when I went there, but I made the Facebook group. So I put on the board, I put a thing. Hold on. I'm going to bring my audio down because I think that is some of what is bringing the echo to you. So I put on the board find me on Facebook. Here's the thing. And they can join. And then the Facebook group just lives by itself. I don't have to moderate it. I don't have to do anything. And then whenever I want to check in, I can see it and I can point to it. Do you think Jaimie should create a Facebook group? And I would like your votes.
Let me preface this with, I don't create Facebook. I'm not the group person. Like, listen,
I'll create it for you.
No. I don't want to be the person in charge of it. I can't.
That's what I'm saying. Once you create it, it's done. It lives on its own, and you don't need to. Oh, look at this. This is my sister. Get Robin to make the group for you. This is what I'm saying. I'll make the group for you. But you don't have to moderate it. Once it's up and running, it just lives.
Oh my God.
We did the same thing when our daughter was younger with 23andMe Ancestry. They will find each other. My now 22-year-old has come across 3 donor all girls. One had no idea she was conceived through donor. Yeah. Well,
that's by the way, where it gets scary.
We did it from all the young people we've talked to who have found other people. It seems like the kids that come from heterosexual families, the kids either didn't know or found out much later in their life.
Shock. And
there was stuff. There was baggage.
Betrayed.
Yeah,
which is why most of our LGBTQ families, we tell our kids right away because it's obvious. We needed assistance to make our family. It's just an obvious thing. So it's an easier, I guess, it's just a better opening for us to tell our kids. And the children of LGBTQ folks who were told from the start were like, oh, it's always been a blessing. I've always loved it. It's like, or I really didn't care. I didn't want to meet them.
Yeah. So you might remember.
Feelings of betrayal, or there were no ill feelings towards their parents. So that's why I was stressing. I have to tell my kid.
So you guys might remember Mari. She was our triplets episode. And they did IVF vacation in Mexico.
Oh my God.
But my question, Mari, is you got your donor from Mexico as well? Or are you talking about your entire origin story?
I think the donor was Mexico too, if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
No.
Well, I guess maybe because you wouldn't ship it. I don't know. Tell us that.
I don't know.
Mari.
We don't remember it. It's been years.
Can you believe we don't remember her life? How horrible of us.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Remind us.
Well,
us.
I think what we've learned with this topic before we move on to mice, eggs, and wombs is that Jaimie should start a Facebook group. I'll do it for her, and it
Nobody
needs
said
to
that.
happen. Yeah, I think that's what I heard. I heard
Nobody
a lot
said
of
that
people say
except
that.
your sister Kim. That's it.
Donors from Mexico. I'm pretty sure that's what we heard. That was a 100% vote for Jaimie should start the Facebook group.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm going to
Okay,
reach
and
out
Mari's
to this
donors from
person.
Mexico.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting, Mari. I feel like maybe you need to get in on that and find out. He was Spanish, but we got it in Mexico. Okay,
yes,
interesting.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm loving this.
That's amazing. Look at that.
All right.
Well, I wonder how you find out how to find. I'm sure there's something out there where you can find. Somebody do some digging. Somebody sleuth that. We got to sleuth it out. Figure it out.
There's a general board, like a donor conceived board that's not from the sperm banks, and like people who are looking for they're like people who had closed donors sometimes use it to try to track down, like if they have a donor number or they try to like track down other siblings and stuff. So that's one place.
Interesting. But
all right, Jaimie, this one is your news item. Let's tell us a little bit about this.
Hot topic. I had to do it. All right, mice, eggs, and wombs. So scientists, you guys, scientists have figured out.
Oh my God! Wait a minute, hold on. Michelle and her and Mari are married to each other. They're in different rooms, and they're both sending us. I couldn't love that more. I just had to shout that out.
I love you guys. Oh my God. Guys.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so scientists have figured out basically how to grow mice in an artificial. Mice embryos. Yeah, I was going to get there. Mice embryos in an artificial womb. So what happens, and this is huge. This is huge for science because they never thought that they could grow embryos in an actual. They thought they needed another hopper, an actual real womb, right? So, but they've created this like fake womb, to use the scientific term. And so what happens is like 2 days after the mouse is impregnated, they take the embryo out and they put it in this artificial womb. And the mouse has grown. It has grown all the way up to 11 weeks and then it dies. But
11 days. 11 days.
11 days. But which is about for a human pregnancy, that's about halfway through a pregnancy, if it were a human pregnancy. So it's like halfway through the mouse's pregnancy, because something with blood supply, all of a sudden they need a blood supply, and they're trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah, and they said it took 7 years to make the hopper, the thing that because it's like got to have like air coming in and like all this stuff. But I mean, the implications of this are interesting.
And obviously they're not doing this for our LGBTQ families. It says in the article, don't get excited. It says they're actually doing this for like possibly making like limbs and things like that, body parts.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is amazing too. But for our family making situations, it might be a little bit further down the line. Well,
can you, I mean, on the one side, it's like, can you imagine a world where you didn't have to carry the baby? Like there's a little hopper over there that's doing it for you. And
I feel like
you're out in your life.
Movies like that. What is it? Isn't it The Matrix where they just grow people?
But then you can also see how really quickly some evil person has 400 hoppers and is just making a weird little army.
I know.
There's a movie. The thing, I read a different article than the one that we were looking at before this, which was talking about that there are all kinds of like laws on the books like against this, and there's some places where they won't even allow scientists to do this research because of the implications. It's a little frightening to me. I think. I
think they need to study octopuses and figure out how they grow limbs. How come we haven't done that?
Or just maybe cure cancer. Can we focus on that? Like, can we just
figured out a COVID vaccine pretty damn quickly?
No, they were working on it for a decade. They were working on the COVID for a decade before. That's why they were able to do it so fast.
Okay, well,
but I'm just saying.
That's all. So
all right.
say.
Well,
yeah.
Nobody's coming to us, Jaimie, for scientific advice. So I mean, obviously. I feel like.
Obviously. Okay, our next hot topic. Go ahead, Robin.
Okay, so my daughter, she's middle school, and we are at the point where we're talking about her commuting by herself on the subway, and I'm having dreams where she's like on islands floating away and things are coming after her and I'm screaming her name and like she can't hear me. So I'm pretty sure that's not good.
I think that's anxiety. I think you're experiencing some serious anxiety.
Well, because every time I open up like the Patch, which is like the Patch is like a local New York City email like news blast, and it's by your neighborhood. So I opened it up yesterday, like literally, or 2 days ago, right before I took the kids, because what we're doing is this: I take them to the shuttle train to the subway, and then I was going all the way to school with them. And then I was staying on the train, and now I'm only going, it's only 2 stops. Now I'm only going 1 stop. And so I get off the train at 1 stop and then go home, and they continue on their own. And then they text me when they arrive. And then the next step is I just walk them over to the train. And so it's like, we're easing into this. You know what I mean? But my point is that right before I was walking them to the train, I read this article in the Patch that said earlier this week, a man on the bus, and we're not talking about 3 a.m. It used to be like you would read these things and you'd be like, oh, it's 3 a.m. Like nothing good happens at 3 a.m. Literally just sitting on the bus, this dude. Some guy walks up, stabs him in the neck, shanks him in the neck, and then gets off the bus. And there's like all kinds of stories of people getting pushed. I mean, but my point is, the reason I bring up the story about her on an island and I can't get to her is like, she's almost 12. And my sister's kid is just a couple years older so she's already experiencing this, but it's just like up until this point of parenting, if I told them no, that was it. And I could take something away. I own everything. But now she's going to go out there and be making her own choices and her own decisions. And it scares, I have to believe she'll make good ones, but it scares the crap out of me.
I can only imagine. Listen, I know this is not the same and it's totally different times, but like I grew up in a city. I was on public transportation in 3rd grade by myself.
Yeah.
And it was a totally different time, but I can't imagine.
I walked myself to school at kindergarten.
Yeah, I can't. But I was in a metropolis city, so like that's my. I'm just making that comparison.
Yeah.
So I was on I was on the city buses and the city transportation, but like I can't imagine letting my children even walk a few blocks without me. I don't know how my mother left me to my own devices in 3rd grade. I used to bum rides from friends, parents. I'd be like, I don't want to take the bus. Can your dad drive me home?
But it's not just that though. It's like the reason that I'm pushing myself, besides the fact that they have to do this, like they have to go out and be in the world and make mistakes. And I know that somewhere in here, I know that, but I am pushing them also because like I find that my kids are in 6th and 4th grade and I'm still nagging them to brush their teeth at night. And I think about the fact that when I was in my youngest age, I would wake myself up for school. I would dress, shower, eat breakfast, make it myself, walk myself to school through like a gravel pit, pick people up. And I managed to get there on time and nobody was riding me. And, it's like at some point, like they have to have that ability.
I think we're doing a disservice for our kids are so less independent than we were. And I don't know if it's because the world is just so different or if we're just all crazier as parents.
Do you think our parents worried the way that we're worrying? I mean, yours might have, mine didn't.
No, my mom literally, I was on I would take myself to like classes at the Park and Rec Center after school. I didn't see my mom till 5 o'clock at night when she got home.
Oh God, we would just go out all day, right? It was just like, and then when the street lights came on, I had to come home. Yeah.
I was
what's Mari saying? Mari's saying, sounds like a good process. I'm not a helicopter parent, but I still get anxiety with each new step towards independence. Thank you very much. I let the trio walk the dog. I like that you got the 3 kids to keep each other company around the neighborhood without me.
How old is the trio? How old are they?
They were in kindergarten when we interviewed, maybe 1st or 2nd grade at this point.
I think they're like
one of you 2 ladies tell us. I we have to do it. It's for their well-being, but it's like this next phase. I feel like there's the first half of their 18 years, and then there's the second half. And I feel like the two experiences are totally different. And I feel like I'm stepping really soundly in the second half, and I'm throwing up about it a little bit.
It's so hard. Wait, Mary has something else to say. We totally need to push and empower our kids. I think our access to media makes it harder. We hear about every kidnapping,
That's true.
etc., and that adds to our collective anxiety. They're 7, same age as Rose. Yeah, same. Agreed. It's just there's so much scary stuff out there in the world, and we hear about it all the time. And God forbid.
I know.
Worst fear.
I do feel like if we weren't coming off of both of my kids getting hit by a car in the last
and then
6
there's
months.
that.
Oh, and by the way, so then my daughter told me, I'm going to whisper up. So she just she's going to hybrid like 2 days a week. And there's like an after school that started. I mean, they're keeping them separated, it's all this stuff, whatever. But so she tells me that a boy in one of the other pods in the after school, he wanted to leave. But he I guess he didn't have permission to be checked out by himself. So he took his phone, the little fucker, took his phone, and he took a little girl in the class, Annabelle, and he switched her name to Mom in his phone. And then he texted and said, do I have to stay for after school? And she texted back, no. And then he just checked himself out.
Oh, no.
And I was like, one, totally impressed that he thought to do that. But then I was two, like, and so I was trying to, so Henry thought that was all cool. And he was like, I want to do that. And I said, don't you dare. So I said,
you do that. And there are no privileges until you're out of this house.
I started with the privilege talk, but then I said, but also I just want to say to you, because by the way, that's the difference between the first half and the second half. Is the first half is I will take everything away from you. I can control everything you do. And then the second half has to be, I'm trying now to start having conversations where I'm saying, what would you do in this scenario? What would you do differently? So I said, I want you to just think it through for a minute. Let's say you do that, right? You check yourself out at 2:00. I don't think you're supposed to be home till 6. 2:30, something bad happens to you. Let's say you get hit by a car. I said, I don't even know you're missing for 4 more hours. And you could see the look on his face. He was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, no, this is not like, I said, you got to be thinking about the repercussions of your actions. But so it's like, I'm trying to now have those conversations, but it's like,
also, I would take everything away from you. God damn.
Yeah, I will take the doors off the hinges. But it also makes me think about, like everything's happening at once. It's not just like, who are you going to be out in the world? It's also like men are going to now start catcalling you. And
I remember I was 11 or 12, my first catcall. I remember. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and like trying to explain to a almost 12-year-old that like there are creepy men out there, and it's like, so I find myself like Googling like how to talk to my tween about, like, I just don't even know, like how do all, like I feel like there has to be some trust that you've parented in a way that they make smart choices, I guess. I don't know. Does anybody know more than we do? Does anybody want to tell us?
Bodies a lot. You got to talk about body safety.
Yeah,
you gotta say
say no, and you're in choice.
Feel safe. There's no shame in running away, and by the way, run and yell and all those things. Oh my God!
I feel like when they were younger, I just had like maybe one conversation, like, okay, I want to have the donor talk, and I got to just look for my moment. But now it's like, you're going to go out, and I have to talk to you about a guy might shank you in the neck. You can push him. I'm obviously not going to, but I'm just saying.
I know. I'm being
personal safety awareness, creepy men, not falling to peer pressure, all these things at once.
Listen, back in the 80s, the schools did that for you.
Right? They parented us.
Stranger danger.
Key around your neck.
Stranger danger. Say no to drugs. The school took care of all that for our parents.
Why are they not doing that anymore, Jaimie? What happened?
I don't know. I learned about kidnapping in school. Yeah. Interesting.
I'm trying to think. I remember learning about, I don't feel like we had a lot of those.
I don't know. We did. We talked about, our sex education in my middle school was a step above. It was crazy. Our sex education in San Francisco middle school, they went for it. They went there. We learned about everything. We put condoms on cucumbers. We learned about every single sexually transmitted disease there was. They brought in teen moms to talk to us. They went there. They did
that's
not.
what we all need. That's what we all need.
They scared me so much from having sex. I was so afraid of sex. I thought I had HIV in 6th grade because of a talk they had, and like they listed the symptoms, and I was like, oh my god,
I got the HIV.
I have HIV, because HIV was huge then. I thought I went through a week where I was like, I have to tell my parents I have HIV. Like,
I have to tell my parents I have HIV. That's not funny. It's funny.
Not funny.
It's so hard. My friend Katie just published a picture book about consent called Receive No Kissies. Oh, good for starting the conversation with littles. Oh, that's nice to know. Thank you.
We should get that. I'll take that link.
Link in comments. But I was going to say also, wait, did I lose the thread?
We're talking about sex education.
All I remember in not sex education, but I remember being separated and them talking about like your period, and that was it. And then I remember drunk driving. Them talking about drunk driving was a very, very big conversation. I also remember them talking about the perils of smoking. And then I went home because my mom was a smoker.
Oh yeah.
So I went home because they pan out, and then it's the person with who no longer can talk. And so now I know my mom's going to have this throat thing. Of
course.
Because I'm, 11. So I go home, I take her cigarettes, and I poked a hole right above the filter in every cigarette in the pack so that she wouldn't light. And so then she cut to my mom with just putting a hand on the hole like it was a filter on a bong, and she smoked them anyway. And then like when I moved into the second pack, she just basically was like, hey, kid, cut it. And then that was it. And then I was like, I want you to die. And she was just like holding the cigarette like, oh, she didn't care.
No. So our schools educated us, but we couldn't do much.
But yeah, it lands where it lands, right? All right. Well, this has been an incredibly uplifting talk.
I felt like we had so much more. Well, we did, but we had to cut.
We did, but we didn't do our homework. So we had to push a couple of articles to next week. Well, sometimes we get like the top line of an article and we're like, this will be great for the live stream. And then we go to read it and it's like behind a paywall. And then we're always like, oh.
I can't. If I have to click it more than once, I'm not reading the article.
Well, the beauty is that Jaimie will take the time to send me the articles, and I'll be like, "So this one was yours. What did it say?" She goes, "Oh no, I didn't read it. I saw
the title, and then I always have every intention of reading it, but life.
I mean, listen. So
I have a 3-year-old with me 24/7.
We do want to say there is a way to get our audiobook for free. If you've never been an Audible member, you just join Audible. And like Jaimie says, set yourself a reminder for 30 days to cut it off.
Or just cut it off.
Join Audible and use that free credit to get our audiobook.
And it's free. Also buy our book. You can get it everywhere. Yep. Also tell everybody you know about it.
And rate and review it.
Yeah. I have to do a better job. Apparently, I have to do a better job of telling people about my book because my other job basically doesn't even know I wrote a book.
Here we go. I'm turning off goodbye. Here we go.
I even have a podcast. So there's that. I got to do better at that. I have to do a little better.
I listened to Jaimie. I listened to Jaimie on a call, 2 calls for a while. Just
careful.
Outraged. Because they were going to shine some social light on someone that she works with who hasn't done anything the way that Jaimie has done for the community for women's history. And they were like, we should shine a light on that girl. And Jaimie was like flipping tables. She was so mad. She was like, and then she just called me and be like, we interviewed Rosie O'Donnell, but no, you don't want to shine a light on the work I've done.
I said, we were in Forbes. I think I said that at one point. I can't even.
This is me. And this is me while this happens. I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah. No, I know. Oh, bad. I know.
I think on one of the calls I was like, can you help me make a list of all the famous people we've talked to?
I was like, it's in our documents, but sure, Jaimie.
No, I'm not that petty, guys. I'm not that petty. But what I have learned about myself is I have to self-promote better so that everybody in my life actually listens to this very important podcast. That's the point of this. That's the point. So anyway, got to do better. I need to send out more e-blasts, I guess. I don't even know. I'm throwing the pencil.
that note, everyone, it has been delightful to see you. Have a delightful weekend and eggs.
Ovaries, take care of yourselves.